for American audiences, despite being mostly made by the Japanese.
Let's see.
So that's that I would have the same idea with most of the Netflix stuff, that even if it was made primarily by Japanese studios, the fact that like it's being made for American audiences by an American producer, it's not anime.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know if it's anime adaptation.
Now, if it's being made for a Japanese audience first, that's a big difference.
Yeah. Hard to say. It's being made by a Japanese studio, production IG.
Yeah. And with simultaneous dubbing now, it is a little hard to say what something was made for first, but we're just looking for intended audience. Cyberpunk, I would actually consider, despite Netflix producing it, being an anime because it was made by, I believe, Studio Trigger. And if you watch it, you can tell that this is made primarily with the Japanese audience in mind. It was just simultaneously dubbed in several different languages. That's like one of the few things that Netflix has put the word anime on. That I'm like, yeah, that is an anime.
I'm trying to see. It doesn't say for sure that the anime is for Netflix, but I guess it is.
Well, you just said Netflix. I know the live action is, but I don't. Once one of them owns the rights to it, they probably they probably are doing all this stuff related to it. But anyway, welcome to Super Serial Showtime, everyone. As always, I'm your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hanging in there.
That's good. That's good. If you guys like the show, please go share it out with somebody else. And if you really like it at any point in time in the show, you can consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitoriumlive. Really helps me out. And I guess we'll say hello to Goodnight Spoon and Fizz Chozo, who are already here. Is this about Deadpool? No, but we might speak about it a little bit, just because there was a lot of Comic-Con stuff that happened, and I do like to rip into the mainstream Western industry because they're mostly shit these days.
Yeah.
And Fizchoso says, I originally wasn't planning to try to come on today, but I can't not talk about RDJ as Doom. Well, who said you could come on? Making some bold assumptions there. But we'll probably end up talking about that a little bit too, because that's part of the general topics. But apparently, what we were talking about as we rolled in is Berserker, the comic that was made with John Wick, I believe. Not John Wick, the actor John Wick.
Keanu Reeves. Yeah. He apparently wrote it.
Yeah.
He was the writer. Yeah.
Now, Berserker, was that I think that was a Vertigo imprint, wasn't it?
Boom Studios.
Boom Studios, okay. I think there must have been something at Vertigo that had a similar title to that.
I don't know. Yeah. I was confusing it with the Expendables. The collab between your boy Zach and who was it again? Oh yeah, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, who's the property owner of the Expendables franchise.
Right. But this was apparently, I guess it was written by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint. I don't know who that is, but
I don't either.
But it's getting an animated, I'll say an animated adaptation and a live action adaptation.
I'm gonna hold my breath on actually calling it an anime. Now, I mean, it would be cool if it was being made with Japanese audience primarily in mind, because there's been a lot of really cool Western stories that have been adapted for Japanese audiences that have ended up really good. And it also looks like some studios are trying to go that route because their attempts at making Western anime just have not been working off. Because like they'll look okay, Like, I don't think the animation's all there for most of the stuff in Castlevania. The illustration looks great, though. Like, if you look any individual screenshot of that show, it looks good. But when you look at a lot of this stuff, they just they're not hitting with audiences as well because they still have all the same problems that any Western writing has had for the last several years. And that's why I think like Warner went to which studio was it? But there's that Suicide Squad isekai thing that's coming out, and that, or it's already out, and that was made for Japanese audiences first. Like, it's written for them, and then it's just being dubbed over here. Right. And I don't care for it because the idea of a Suicide Squad isekai just doesn't tickle my fancy at all. But from what I've seen of it, the writing is what you expect from your average Japanese anime. So I think that's probably a better route to take than just trying to emulate it poorly over here.
Yeah. I'm looking at who's involved, and I don't recognize anyone, so I guess that's probably a good sign.
Oh yeah, these days it's probably a great sign to not recognize anybody who's involved.
Yeah, the producer, I don't know how much the producer has, control over it, but the producer is Matson Tomlin, who's Romanian, and I haven't heard of anything that he's done. So
Matson Tomlin. It sounds like he's got 2 last names.
Yeah. Matson Tomlin. Known for a bunch of movies I've never seen. Never heard of. So could be good. I don't know. It's not clear. It says that the live action version will be on Netflix. It's being made for Netflix.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say that the anime is specifically for Netflix. So
yeah. So who knows at this point? I just made that jump because, like I said, once a studio has the license to do something, they've been covering all the stuff under it, right? But it could just be a split license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see. I mean, so there's an animation studio, but that's not necessarily the same studio that's doing the live action?
No. Well, of course not.
I don't know.
But also, just because a studio's doing something, you actually have to look at like the production studio for the most part, right?
Yeah, I guess.
One of the things I've liked about Netflix, as much as people talk about, like Netflix adaptations are awful. It's like, no, they've been hit and miss, and it's because Netflix is kind of like hands off when it comes to how they do things. They're just kind of like the type of producer that throws money at stuff and hope it comes out. That's why you can have something as horrible of their... I think they were the ones that actually brought Cuties to a wider audience instead of it just being effectively a indie film in France. Like they're the ones that actually brought it, which is awful. But also then they're also sticking up for Dave Chappelle's stand-up at the same time, right? Because they're just a production company. They just throw money at shit. So within them, you do have to look at the smaller studio that's doing something to see how something is going to come out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we'll see. I don't know anything about this comic, but I mean, the visuals look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Just the covers, and saw some people tweeting about it with pictures of the interiors. It looked really good.
Yeah.
So,
I remember vaguely seeing stuff about it. Like, I've never actually read Berserker. I can kind of see like the title font and one of the covers because I remember like the book cover was like really, really white with like it almost reminded me like the way like Final Fantasy logos look. So it had like a design on it, like the shape, and it was almost silhouette, and it had like a gradient covering in the silhouette with like the word there. That was like one of the covers I remember seeing, because I'm pretty sure it was your boy Zach talking about it back when I heard about this thing, and I have not heard anything about it since then.
Yeah, he was kind of making it sound like it was, I guess, I don't know, that maybe it was somewhat inspired by the Expendables comic.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know.
The success of that. because I feel like maybe the first one, I don't know if all of them, but it might have started out crowdfunded. Even though it was Boom Studio.
Maybe. I barely know anything about this. Fitzjoseph says it's basically the Wolverine, but with Keanu Reeves. I'm guessing the main character is also modeled off of Keanu Reeves. And Goodnight Spoon says he read the first one. It was too dark for him. So, yeah, the Wolverine, but I'm guessing, like, John Wick levels of murder and stuff.
Yeah, okay, so I was right. That's when it was last funded. It doesn't say, or last updated. Okay, this must have been in early 2021 or 2020, maybe. It was on Kickstarter, and it sold $1.4 million to 14 million backers.
Yeah, apparently it did well enough, right? So
14,000. Sorry, 14,000. Yeah. 14,000 backers. Must have backed it for an average of $100. It's a lot.
Oh, you thought we were talking about Berserk. Ignore you. Berserker or something else. No, because I'm familiar with Berserk, right? Like, I know of Berserker. I've read quite a bit of Berserk. So, yeah, no, they're completely different things.
Yeah. Yeah, Berserker came out in apparently 2021. It's a very successful Kickstarter. The only reason I remember it, I think, is because I think there was some controversy about the fact that Boom Studios shouldn't be crowdfunding because they can afford to just produce their own comics.
That might have been one of the things about it. The thing is, they wouldn't have been the only one at that time having that issue. There was a lot of studios that started doing that just because they saw how successful the crowdfunding was. And a lot of people were trying to throw Antarctic into that too. But they have to look at the difference. Antarctic is mostly creator-owned stuff where they kickstarted first, and then they got picked up by Antarctic after they already did the Kickstarter. Most of the people like Tim Lim and Mark Pellegrini are in that case, where it's not like they were already with Antarctic before their comic was successful.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, this was specifically Boom Studios doing the crowdfunding. I just remember it being a controversy, so whether you agree or not, it just...
I think IDW, I can't remember what comic it was, but they also did something like that at the time, and I'm trying to think of... Which Boom, I think, is slightly smaller, but they're closer to contemporaries of IDW in size compared to some of the larger ones. Because IDW was put there as, like, in the top 5 for a while, but it was, like, right there at the bottom of the top 5, where a lot of other publishers were pretty close.
Yeah, let me see. IDW Publishing is also on Kickstarter, but not very. I only see 3, and they didn't do very well.
Yeah, because
not on the same time, but they only made
extremely
like 90...
controversial. Yeah,
I guess, yeah. But Berserker did very well.
Yeah, and I think the difference there is just because Keanu Reeves was attached to it. That's why it did well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so.
When you typed the name Berserker, Goodnight Spoon wants to know if you had a seizure on your keyboard.
Oh, is that what I was? Yeah. I thought maybe I had made a noise or something.
No. It's it's one of those names where it's like we're just gonna delete all the vowels.
Either that or my cat just walked across my keyboard.
Which, in a lot of ways, kind of matches the word Berserker more, because vowels came in later. But if you were to write it in earlier Nordic runes, like the furthest back, it was one of those many languages where like the vowels were just implied.
Yeah. Indeed.
Though they definitely started picking that up a lot. Because, like, if you... what was it? Because I've done a lot of study into this, too. I think it was probably around the first millennia BC is when they started putting vowels in their written language. Which is soon enough. I mean, there's a lot of languages that didn't pick it up until after... what's it called? Zero, until it became the Common Era.
Yeah. So you say they started putting the vowels in 1000 BC?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant 1000 AD.
No. That would be pretty late. Yeah.
I thought that they were still using some.
They were using runes, but the runes by then they had vowel runes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, they didn't. It was like I think the Roman Empire. So it was probably around 500-600. That influence AD is probably when they started using mixed of like romantic letters in their stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they were using runes pretty late. Yeah.
Well, at any rate, I guess we'll keep an eye on that.
Don't hold me on specific years. It's been a while since I've read into that. It's ballparking it. But yeah. So that's that was something to start the show with. A lot more interesting than the other stuff I have for us to talk about. Because,
okay. I was wondering why you were like stretching this out.
Yeah, well,
isn't that interesting of a story?
San Diego Comic-Con happened, so there was a lot of news, and the problem is it's not interesting news. It used to be when you go to Comic-Con, if we were to dial things back like a few decades ago, or 2 to 3 decades ago, because that's really the height of Comic-Con. It used to be that it was comic news. And you'd be excited because like, oh, cool, comics and stuff. And maybe they would talk about like a huge event that's happening or maybe some new title that's going to happen or something. No, now it's all like movie shit for like super mainstream things like the MCU. Do you want to hear like 50 fucking things about the MCU that nobody's watching anymore? Go to Comic-Con.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering, like, I saw stuff about the MCU, like the next phase or whatever, before I even realized that it was because of Comic-Con. So I was wondering, are they announcing this now? It's a San Diego one?
Well, I mean, the big Comic-Con every year is the San Diego Comic-Con, SDCC. Oh. Yeah.
That was one I was briefly contemplating going to, but
yeah.
Work and lack of money made it impossible.
San Diego Comic-Con used to be really cool. G4 made it even cooler for a short period of time, but it's also their fault that it became lame in the first place. Because they shined the light on it, and that's what started making it more of like commercial. Ooh, if we're going to be on TV, we need to launch trailers and stuff for other things as like Century Fox's film started getting big, and then the MCU comes out, and it's entirely all of G4's fault. So, I miss the old G4, but also go fuck yourself at the same time. That's my mixed feelings on that relic. I'll check back after the Goron race. Good luck with that. Those things are kind of annoying. You remember the Goron races in Majora's Mask?
Yeah. I think I remember falling off the edge a lot.
But yeah,
it was annoying.
We've got some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what am I going to do with this? I think I have to shrink my screen because if I don't, we disappear. There we go.
Yeah, what's going on there?
No, it's because I only have one monitor while I'm away. So I can't have my browser maximized. Because if I cover up the Discord window with my browser, not if I cover up the Discord window with OBS, that's fine. If I cover up with my browser, it just decides to turn our video off. Because Windows, I don't know. But here we go.
Interesting.
We've got some news. So probably, I don't know. I'm not really interested in all this stuff. But I'm interested enough to talk about it so I can say how not interested I am in it. So the first thing on the list was Transformers 1, which is an upcoming animated movie. And I don't know. To me, it looks kind of gross. The way they decided to animate it. I don't know if you've seen the clips from it, the teasers.
No, I'll have to look at that.
Some of the characters
like
look fine.
Based on G1?
No, I don't think it's based on G1. Maybe. I was probably going to cover some stuff because it's going to be back on Cybertron, I think, because it's covering like the relationship between Optimus and Megatron and they're falling out.
Oh, man, it looks like. Do you want me to play it? It looks like. What do you call those things? The die-cast metal toys.
Yeah. Some of the models look fine.
Used to have in the 80s.
If their face is covered up. But then I saw Optimus's face and the way he's talking. He kind of looks like the. His face reminds me of that cartoon, the one from the late aughts that followed the Michael Bay films, and like just the way his mouth moves when he talks, it's kind of gross to me. That's the best I can explain. Is that feeling that his face looks gross.
They seem very shiny. All right, you see that?
Yeah. The world looks fine. Like I like the environments and everything. I just don't like the way the Transformers look.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of robots sneering and smiling.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Like they would always just kind of imply I don't know. They never had any trouble conveying emotions before with just sort of the shields in front of their faces.
I like the shields in front of their faces. Robots don't need mouths.
Yeah, like I never envisioned when I was watching back in the 80s that those were shields. I thought that was their mouth. I thought that sort of the flat metal part, that was it.
Joseph says apparently Chris Hemsworth is playing Optimus.
Oh.
Just fine.
Okay.
Like, so would I prefer?
This is where they learn how to transform?
I'm guessing. Would I prefer one of the people who have played Optimus forever? Because there's two voices, really, for Optimus, right? There's like the main one. What's his name? It's Peter something. I'm trying to remember. But he voices Optimus like all the big things. They even brought him back for the Michael Bay movies. But he's getting old, so like it's almost like a Charles Martinet situation where you're expecting somebody else. Peter Cullen, thank you. I was spacing on his last name.
Yeah.
And where you're expecting him to get like permanently replaced with other people eventually just because of his age. And then there's like somebody else who would come in for the spin-offs and side things and would play Optimus in like every other thing. And I can't remember who it is at the top of my head, but it's neither of them. It's apparently Chris Hemsworth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like I said, I don't see why not. There's one thing where
who's playing Megatron?
I have no idea who's playing Megatron.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, it's one thing when you have a continuous voice and the person's still young and available and stuff. But when you're dealing with something as old as Transformers, eventually, you're going to have to replace the voice, right? I mean, we've done this with Disney characters forever, right? There's a lot of people who have been playing Disney characters for a long time, but none of them are the original. I mean, the original voice of Mickey was Walt, right? He's not around anymore. Steve Buscemi's in it.
I hate it when they use familiar voices.
I know. There's Keegan Michael Key.
I mean, yeah, he's Bumblebee, really? And John Hamm is Sentinel Prime. Megatron is Brian Tyree Henry.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
Uh,
Who's Scarlett Johansson playing?
I don't know. A character I've never heard of. Elita?
Oh, okay. No, that's I know her.
Is that like RC?
Well, no, there's
RC wannabe?
This is covering a section of the past, right? Like back when they were on there. Optimus before he was Optimus, because he wasn't always Optimus. He got a new name when he became Optimus, right? He had a little crew of people, and they were kind of like maintenance workers or whatever back then, and she was one of them.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she died. Like I'm pretty sure his entire crew died, except for him. I don't know if that's what they're gonna do in this movie, but he was like the only person who ended up living.
Right. I think I remember that now. And Alpha Trion, which is, I think, that train? Isn't that Alpha Trion? That's Lawrence Fishburne.
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like I either had... Oh, no. I guess he's not. I guess he's... Oh, he's one of the older Transformers, I guess.
It sounds like he would be an older Transformer just from the name.
Yeah. All right.
I like Larry Fishburne. Great actor. I'd be happy to hear him in anything.
Oh, he was the Transformer that led the rebellion against the Quintessence.
Yep. But that's that was the first thing announced. It's not the worst looking thing. Like I said, it's mostly the mouth. I don't like the faces. If the faces were changed, I'd probably already be happier about this. Everything else kind of looks fine. I would actually be happier if this was a 2D animated movie, but apparently I'm not allowed to get those anymore.
Yeah. Oh, Astro Train, of course, was
Astro Train. I like Astro Train.
Yeah, it started with an A.
It's also it's a train, so I'm probably just gonna like it anyway. I like trains.
Yeah.
I will make a coin flip and take a guess that I will probably like this better than Transformers the movie. But there's a chance that they do the exact same thing.
Oh.
And they flub it.
The original?
And, yeah. I might like it better than Transformers the movie. But there's a chance that they're also going to just inject pop culture music into scenes for no reason, and I'll hate it for like pretty much the exact same reason that I dislike the original.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why you hated the Super Mario Brothers movie, right?
Yeah, well, I would even say I didn't hate Transformers the movie or the Super Mario Brothers movie, but the points that I knocked off of both of those movies were because of like the inappropriate pop culture music that kind of just feel like it was filling time. And it's like, these montages wouldn't be that bad in Mario. You could have just used, I don't know, music from Mario.
Yeah. I mean, one of the like 150, whatever, one of the hundreds of tunes that you could have chosen.
Masterpieces by the amazing Koji Kondo.
Exactly. What was I listening to the other day? That was I was every once in a while. Suddenly, YouTube starts recommending these musicians who go through video game music and analyze them.
I've seen a few of those.
And one of them was I know it was some guy was analyzing some Mega Man, but that wasn't. It was a different song. I'll have to go back and look at my history, but yeah, just I mean, some of these pieces are masterpieces.
Oh yeah, like you know what? I was even
Absolutely.
talking to my brother about this the other week. What would have been better is the only song that was fitting at all. I still would have changed, and it would have been "No Sleep Till Brooklyn." Kind of worked because they were actually supposed to be in Brooklyn at the time, but I still would have replaced it and probably would have just put a remix of the Super Mario Brothers theme, like the original one, as they're running through Brooklyn doing athletic stuff. Or even if you did, it's the start of the movie, that's why I want the original Mario Brothers theme. But you could even pick one of the athletic themes and put it in there too if you wanted. I would have saved that for the training sequence if they absolutely had to have a training sequence. I don't know why that was even in the movie.
You didn't like the zillionth rendition of "I Need a Hero"?
No, I did not like that. And also, it just isn't fitting for the character of Mario. He should have done on-the-job training, and they should have just had them having to get through obstacles and crazy things in the environment of Mushroom Kingdom on their way to their destination. Which they did a little bit of that, you know, where like the Cheep ended up on his face. But they could have like really just explored the Mushroom Kingdom, and I thought it would have been a better set for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, why do they have to have an obstacle course? The whole
prove,
idea of the game is that the whole world is an obstacle course.
Yeah.
So it's like have them go through the exactly.
And they
what
already
you said,
kind of showed that off in
world.
Toad Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I would have just had like the original Mario Brothers theme, like a remix, a fun one, but kind of toned down, so that like it could pick up where it left off in that final encounter with Bowser, where you finally get to hear the Super Mario Brothers theme, and it'd be like a reprieve, and you just have like these two songs go together from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. And I watch too much YouTube.
Yeah, that's
really.
Let's see, but we do have Fischoso says, according to studios, the audience doesn't respond to 2D animated movies anymore. I don't even know where they're getting that data from because they're not even fucking trying. It's hard to actually have hard like data or studies on people responding to 2D versus 3D when they're not even putting out 2D movies, right? He also says, although My Little Pony had a movie back in 2017 that was 2D, yeah, it's and the Friendship is Magic movie where they became like real girls and the real world actually grossed pretty well. So it's like, I think when studios say this, they're just talking out their ass. It's the marketing department, but it's like, how are you actually surveying people, right? And Goodnight Spoon asks, is it possible to like the Transformers the movie more than literally any other movie? I don't know, because I don't even like it as much as some any other movies that you could randomly pick. But for some people, maybe. I know a lot of people who go hard on that movie, like it's one of their favorite things ever. If you were a kid when it came out, I can understand that. There's a lot of movies that aren't good. I will straight up tell you aren't good, but I like them just because I watched them when I was a kid. And I won't lie to you and say that this is a good movie. I just enjoy it because I was a kid when I watched it.
Yeah, it's not like one of my favorite movies, but and there were parts of it that I really didn't like. Like, you know, the Dare to Be Stupid part was stupid.
Yeah, that didn't need to be in there at all. I like that song too, but like that was like a waste of time in the movie.
Yeah, complete waste of time. But some parts of that movie went pretty hard. I mean, the beginning was pretty badass.
Yeah.
Sorry to say.
The final assault on Unicron was pretty badass too. Like they're good parts of that movie, but
yeah.
And I like the soundtrack as a soundtrack. I just don't like it in the movie. Like all the songs they picked are great songs, but I could have had maybe some original scores and compositions done for the movie instead of that, something that really fit what was going on.
Yeah. I guess it was this guy Charles Cornell, and I guess it was his analysis of the Mega Man, I guess the opening theme of Mega Man 2. It
Oh, I love
apparently
Mega
goes
Man
on
2.
and
That's my
on.
favorite.
Yeah, well, if you leave it on and you don't start the game, it keeps going and it
Yeah.
gets very interesting. So I guess that's what I was watching. But yeah, you wouldn't think like, I mean, the Mega Man music is pretty awesome, but I don't know. I wouldn't have thought that it was compositionally complex or interesting in any particular way. But apparently it is.
Yeah. Not really a topic for today's show, but I agree with whoever did that analysis.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, my nose is itching. But anyway, well, the point was there's a ton of music. Like, if they're gonna do a live action Zelda movie, they better not freaking put in any non-Zelda music of any kind.
Oh yeah.
Frankly.
Well, judging by the way that they're making that movie and the way from what we can tell right now, obviously we haven't even had a teaser or even behind the scenes shot of anything. But the way the guy's talking about it and making a Zelda movie right, and it seems like it is being aimed at a slightly older audience than the Mario movie, because the Mario movie was very much a kids movie. Well, I wouldn't even necessarily call it a family film. It was a kids movie in the same way that like almost all Illumination movies are, right? It is aimed at people between the ages of 5 to 10 is like the main audience there. Zelda, on the other hand, looks like it's going to be aimed at teenagers, which is like historically the majority of the movie-going audience would be teenagers. Usually a lot of movies, even if they're made for guys, the target demo in mind is 14-year-old girls. And it's like even a guy's movie has to have some appeal to a 14-year-old girl because most movies that was the date spot, right? That's the real reason, right? So it's probably going to appeal to teenagers if they can even get them in theaters. Because of that, I think they can get away with more. It's a slightly more mature audience. They can track things better. You don't have to worry about them being as ADD as kids are, and he seems to be taking this very seriously. So I'm expecting orchestral renditions of music for the background.
Mm-hmm. We were just listening to Zelda music just now.
Yeah.
Twilight Princess. Very cool stuff. But no, I didn't. Obviously, wasn't paying very close attention to San Diego Comic-Con.
No. Well, we've got other things on here.
This movie's coming out this year, apparently.
Yeah. That's why they have it wasn't a full trailer yet, but they had a teaser that had finished clips from the movie. So I expect a full trailer pretty soon.
That what I just showed says official trailer.
Oh, does it? Oh, all I saw was teaser on the San Diego Comic-Con thing. So maybe they put the teaser up during the panel and then they dropped that trailer directly to YouTube, and that's what we watched. From what I saw, because I did watch it beforehand, I probably wasn't paying attention enough to see if there was clips from it that I was missing. It was roughly the same thing that I already saw.
Okay.
Yeah. What else did we get?
It's coming out.
Did I not skip the MCU junk? No, we haven't even gotten to that yet. What'd you say? What's coming out?
Transformers 1, September 20th.
Okay, September 20th. That's really soon.
I know, right? It's almost August.
Like, I know they had already announced this a while back, but that's really soon for the first trailer to be put out.
No kidding.
Probably the most disappointing thing, because we were hoping it would be dead. Rings of Power got their season 2 trailer that we're not going to watch on here because fuck the Rings of Power.
Yeah. No way. I saw just a still of it with it's supposed to be Celebrimbor showing or handing a bunch of rings to Sauron, and I'm like, did they get a different actor to play Sauron?
I don't even know. They could, because Sauron has taken many forms, so it'd be funny if they actually have different actors at different times for his different forms. That'd be probably the one canonical thing they've done in that show so far.
Yeah. Because I was like, that it looks like the actor that played Celebrimbor, but first off, he looked really confused. Like he's looking at these rings being like, the hell are these things? Like, it was supposed to be him showing them to Sauron, and I'm like, wait, he looks like he's never seen a ring before. What are these circles of metal?
There was also
angelic-looking blonde Sauron.
Yeah, which kind of fits sort of what he's supposed to be. It actually would be more fitting for his master, who's imprisoned, because he is like, he was just like a general underneath the guy who's effectively Satan. It's like, he's not even the big evil. The big evil's locked in a tower, chained up for like until the end of days, and then Sauron was like his subordinate.
Oh, I thought he was dead.
Yeah,
I thought Morgoth was dead.
He technically can't die. He's chained up in a tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he died at some point. I guess not.
Yeah, no.
He never comes back.
The actual big bad of Middle Earth is just gone. You know, he was taken care of.
Yeah.
He was tag teamed by a bunch of his former compatriots, and then Sauron's like, my time to shine.
So if Sauron had taken over, would he have released Morgoth, or would he have?
Oh no,
preferred to just
hell no,
rule by himself?
That devious guy, of course, he wouldn't release his former master. He's like, no. You know, it's almost like Sith rules, you know. It's like, I'm in charge now.
Yeah. I was gonna say it'd be like Starscream, you know. He would never let Megatron out. If he was imprisoned. I don't know what Goodnight Spoon is talking about.
I don't either.
Streaming, I give up. I don't know. All right, sir. What else?
There also something I don't care about, but maybe you do, since you watch The Boys. Their prequel was officially announced. The new series Vought Rising, and it's going to take place in the 1950s and follow Soldier Boy and Stormfront.
They brought back Soldier Boy in the last episode.
Yeah.
I guess it was assumed he was dead or vaporized or something, but of course he can't. I mean, he's basically the original, whatchamacallit? I almost said Highlander, Homelander, right? So like impervious. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how interesting that's going to be.
Probably not.
Because you know what happens. I mean, it's kind of removed some of the,
I think,
intrigue, right?
They're just banking on the fact that Jensen Ackles is a very sellable actor and has kind of like a cult following, so they'll probably at least get enough of his fans watching it.
Mm-hmm. Unless there's like the possibility of time travel. I mean, like, you know what's going to happen. You know, I don't know. He gets frozen somewhere. I guess he goes nuts just like Homelander and they capture him or whatever. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm not interested. But okay. I mean, I'll probably watch at least the trailer and maybe the first episode or two, but
I have no interest in like anything in the extended universe of The Boys at all. Though they were teasing, I don't think this was at STCC. I think it was online, but it's directly connected to it. the creators or the showrunners of both The Boys and also Robert Kirkman over at Invincible were talking about a possible crossover thing with Omni-Man and Homelander. I don't know why anybody wants that, but it was something that they were teasing around and that is like in the works. So it's like, I don't know. Look forward to disappointment, I guess. That's all I could say on that.
That sounds interesting, but do they exist in the same universe, or do they just
No,
have a
they're
fun?
completely different universes.
Yeah, I mean, It's funny because they're in completely different arcs. Omni-Man seems to be on a redemption arc, and Homelander is just in a
Downward spiral. Yeah.
Completely the opposite. I guess that could make it intriguing.
They're also like completely different scales. Like people don't understand how low scale the stuff in The Boys are compared to like almost any other superhero thing you could throw at them, right? Like,
yeah,
Homelander couldn't even help Omni-Man if they were on a team together. Like that's how big the gap between their power levels are, you know?
Yeah, he can fly, right? Homelander.
I think so. Yeah. I've seen him fly.
I think. Yeah, of course he can. But like, there was like that one scene that kind of, this brought it home for me, that there was a scene where he goes to like try and
that plane rescue would be very awkward if he couldn't fly.
Yeah. Well, he tries to go and
Yeah.
rescue the people in the plane, but like,
Yeah.
he can't do anything. He's like, there's nothing I can do. Right?
Yeah.
Because like, I guess it's confusing because like when you have a superhero who can fly, what are they pushing against, right? I mean, that's kind of what he brought up. Like, how am I supposed to stop the plane? What am I pushing against? I can't.
Yeah, it's like I can lift myself, but like you know.
Yeah. Whereas Omni-Man can somehow create a force in the direction.
Well, so the way they explain it in Invincible is that they are the thing they're pushing against, which still doesn't necessarily make sense, but at least it's internally consistent to the world they're in. Like it wouldn't make any sense in our world, but there is an internal consistency, and that's all that really matters. Yeah.
He didn't want to put it, but I don't think that he could put in any effort. I mean, like the woman that was with him, I forget what her name was. She couldn't really do anything either. She didn't really know what to do.
Yeah,
she just wanted to like rescue.
You're pushing against the fabric of space itself.
Yeah. Like she wanted to like at least take one of the children or something. Yeah. And he was like, well, no, if I do that, there'll be a witness to the fact that we couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And, but that was all she could do, was like take people one at a time, maybe two. So I don't know.
There's definitely things you can do. Even if you couldn't push the plane, think about this, right? Like talking about not putting effort in, you could still guide it because planes have wings. You could glide the plane down to safety.
I guess if you could create some sort of force.
Yeah. Like if you're just underneath, whatever drag force is just on you yourself, you could still kind of just like guide the plane, stabilize it as it glides down to safety. Like that would be an option.
Yeah.
Because honestly, a good pilot could still land a plane without the engines running.
Maeve, yeah. Just look at Captain, what's his name, that landed in the river?
Oh yeah, they made a movie about that.
Sully.
Yeah.
Captain Sully.
Yeah.
I watched that movie. It was very good. You wouldn't think that they could make a movie about a thing that took like 10 minutes or 15, however long it took.
That was
they did.
It was directed by Eastwood Jr., I think, right?
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks.
Which he's not actually a junior, but Clint's son. A lot of people just refer to him as Eastwood Jr.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty nice directorial career going on for him.
Oh.
Yeah, there's several movies. Not like super big, but every one that he's put out has been moderately successful. So.
I was not aware. I didn't even know. No, wait a minute. Clint Eastwood Jr., like the son of the old guy?
And maybe he is an actual junior. Yeah, Clint's son does directing.
Oh. Is it Scott Eastwood?
Yeah, it might be Scott.
Okay.
The older one? Yeah, he does some acting too, but he does directing.
I see. I was just going to look up. Was it called Captain Sully?
Yeah. That might not have been one of his. I just remember he recently, around that same time, he put out a movie. He was also apparently in Fast X as an actor.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't recognize that because I have not seen Fast X.
I think I saw the first Fast and Furious, maybe the second one.
Yeah.
And then I got sick of them. It's like, these are all the same.
Yeah, after a while, right? Like, because they start off as like general heist car chase movie things. It might have been the other son.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which one was the director, but because he's got two.
No, the director of Sully was Clint Eastwood.
Oh, it was the actual Clint Eastwood. Okay, I remember one of the Eastwoods was attached to something. Okay. Anyway, with Fast and Furious, they started off as like general car like chase movies. They're like Need for Speed, and then they just kind of like got more action and action over time, and now there's like no difference between them and superhero movies.
Right? Like, are they going into space or something? Or they went into space in one of them? It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and they did like a Halo drop.
Yeah. What even is this? What is happening here?
Let's see what else we got. The Crow. We got had a teaser. There was a clip from the new Crow starring Bill Skarsgård.
Is that not out yet? Man, they've
No.
been talking about that forever.
I didn't even watch the clip, so I don't even know if it looks good or not.
I don't understand. Like, that's the guy who played Pennywise the Clown, right?
Yeah.
In It. He's playing the Crow. You know, he reminds me of the guy who who played Osborn in that one Spider-Man movie, Dane DeHaan or whatever his name is. You know, in the Amazing Spider-Man.
In the Amazing. It was the guy who was like bedridden.
No,
Or are you talking about the younger? Okay, Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. Yeah.
It just his look. Dane DeHaan. Bill Skarsgård. Just, I don't know. It's sort of this
Bill's
dead
been a
look in
lot
his
of shit.
eyes.
Yeah. But he usually plays monsters. And even when he's not, he's usually playing a human that's basically a monster, like a psychopath or whatever.
Yeah.
He was in Deadpool 2.
He was?
Yeah, he was the guy who had the acid spit or whatever in the team.
Oh, was he one of the guys that like died really fast?
Immediately? Yeah. His X-Force.
Which they totally... No, wait a minute. Which came first? That one or that second Suicide Squad movie? I think that one came first.
I don't know.
Anyway, one of them ripped off the other.
Zeitgeist was his name. Short-lived character. Yeah.
Oh, he was in John Wick 4, which I have not seen. I've seen one 1, 2, and 3.
I haven't seen 3 yet.
Have you seen the first 3?
I've seen 1 and 2.
I liked all 3 of them, frankly. They're not getting old for me.
Well, you know the thing is, I like both of them, and I'm assuming I would like 3. I just have not gotten around to see it. Back when I lived with Buck's family, his mom was like, well, you know, we have it on Blu-ray. You can watch it anytime. It's like, I don't have a disc drive in my computer, and I don't want to go out into the living room to watch it. That was like the one thing that just stopped me from watching. It's like, I don't want to go out there to watch it. I want to watch it on my screen, and I don't have a disc drive. It's probably streaming on like Netflix or something. I should watch it. I just never got around to it.
I think it was for a while, but now it's on Peacock. Do you get cable?
No. It's fuck cable.
I would say if you get cable, then you can get Peacock for free. But never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently it's also on. Oh no. It requires a subscription everywhere. Well, anyway, I liked it. The ending was really stupid, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, Goodnight Spoon didn't like it. What was different about 3? Shoots people in the goddamn face. What more do you need?
What was different? It has a big 3 next to it. And everybody knows that the number 3 itself is just awful. Yeah, there we go.
I guess. It's hard to see him struggling to run convincingly. You think Keanu's just getting too old?
No, yeah, he's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not looking, well, it's starting to show his face. I've noticed that recently. For a long time, people are like the immortal Keanu Reeves, but probably right around the time Bill and Ted Face the Music came out, it's like, yeah, no, I can see it in his face now, even when he's got the facial hair covering it up.
Yeah. Well, what I want to know though is why did he phone it in so badly for The Matrix 4? Like, was that intentional? Did they just make that movie bad?
Probably. I think that movie was probably made bad on purpose. It seemed to be almost like a critique of the industry and like Warner Brothers and everything, and how like nobody wanted to make that film, but it was like a film they had to make.
Yeah, so they made it about not wanting to make a
because like
video game.
There's a lot of that in there, right? That's like the major plot. Is like they have to do this thing that they don't want to actually have to do.
Yeah,
I also agree with Goodnight Spoon. Back to the Future 3 is the best Back to the Future. It's got ZZ Top.
I think the first one was the best. That's true. But okay, let me see. John Wick 3. 2017, Matrix 4. Okay, so it was 4 years later. I guess that's understandable. But you know, I didn't feel like he phoned it in for John Wick 3, but he sure did for Matrix.
I think everybody phoned it in for Matrix.
Yeah, I'm just gonna push people with my mind. Not gonna have any actual fight scenes.
There's also the animation quality looks better than a lot of the other stuff coming out of the studios right now. It kind of looks like on the quality of the DCAU stuff that was happening recently. But there was a teaser for Creature Commandos, the original series. I don't think it looks that interesting, but at least as far as the animation goes, it looks good. I don't really give a shit about Creature Commandos anyway, and they're probably not going to have any of the characters act the way they do. So,
was that originally a TV show, or was that a comic book?
Yeah, it's just basically it's like the Suicide Squad in a way, but imagine League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but like what they were trying to do with the Universal Monsterverse, right? It's like that. It was like it's all those Universal Monster type things, and it was like a comic team up thing. Interesting idea. Not really a thing I care about, but some people might enjoy it.
Okay. Who's playing the one handsome guy. Oh, Rick Flag Sr. Is that Frank Grillo? I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Are these from DC?
No, some
Other
of them are
DC
original characters, right? So
things?
this show pretty much comes from the mind of James Gunn.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot of like out there DC characters you have heard of. It's like a collection of a bunch of different shit. And there's going to be some stuff that you've just like literally have never seen before because James Gunn made it up.
So I knew this name sounded familiar. Oh, Rick Flag. Oh, the junior one. That's like the leader of the Suicide Squad. So this is like his dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's another reason why I'm not really interested in it. Like it's just going to be more of Gunn's Suicide Squad, but like with creatures. Okay.
Yeah. Looks like there's a Frankenstein kind of thing. Something else.
We also have
okay.
Prime Video series. Apparently they're making, I think we talked about this and I forgot it was a thing. Like a Dragon, Yakuza is going to get like an animated series. It's going to be completely 3D animated in the same way that the games are, you know, and it'll like look like an Advent Children, a Tekken looking thing or whatever. They showed off some stuff. They revealed like who the major villain is and who's going to be playing it. I don't know if it's going to be good, but you know, whatever. Yakuza's a very popular brand. Sega's directly involved, so maybe it won't be awful. It's hard to tell when it comes to Amazon.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it won't be.
Yeah.
Maybe
if it's... Because I saw some of the actual Yakuza / Super Monkey Ball team people were involved in it directly. So as long as they're the ones writing it, it should be fine. And yes, the Yakuza team is also the same team that makes Super Monkey Ball.
I love that game.
Yeah.
Ew, they're like tattooing this guy with this big old thing of needles. Ugh.
We also got a trailer for Penguin. I honestly could not care less about that if I tried.
Why did they even cast that guy? What's his name as the Penguin?
Wasn't it like Colin Farrell was the one that they casted for the Penguin?
Yeah, that's right.
He's a guy that I never understood how he became popular in the first place. He just like magically became popular. He's probably related to somebody or whatever that had power. I think there's only one thing I've ever enjoyed with Colin Farrell, like as a main character, and that was the movie Phone Booth, and that was just because of how stupid the movie Phone Booth was. Like, I enjoy it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Is that like his breakout movie?
I don't even know if that was his breakout. Maybe. It's one of the earliest ones I remember seeing him in, but...
You didn't like the remake of Total Recall? Come on.
Dude, maybe I'd have to rewatch it. Because it almost makes it sound like I found the movie too boring because of what happened in it, but it was mostly because of my sleep schedule. I went to go see that with Buck and his family back when it came out. And I think I got like an hour and a half of sleep the night before we went to go see it. So like by a certain point, I think it was around the time that they got to the kind of like rebel hideout with Morgan Freeman and everything in that remake. And I just like fell asleep. And I woke up in the middle of a battle somewhere else. I have no idea how long. I might have been asleep for like 15 minutes or something like that. But like I was struggling to stay awake in the movie. And the thing is, I've watched movies where I've had the same amount of sleep before that. It's just the movie wasn't loud enough and exciting enough to keep me awake for how tired I was. And that's not a big criticism of the movie. That's more of just the state I was in.
Mhm.
I'd have to rewatch it to know if I even liked it.
Yeah. I did like him in Minority Report. He was kind of the Inspector Javert chasing after Tom Cruise. It was kind of hapless.
I know what you're talking about. It's just been so long since I've seen Minority Report that I'm like trying to picture it.
Yeah, it was a small part.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
Goodnight
why
Spoon
I
says,
liked him, because it wasn't.
Yeah, he honestly thinks his breakout role was Bullseye in Daredevil.
You might be right.
Yeah. I'm sure it's also been so long since I've seen the Ben Affleck Daredevil that I don't even remember that he was Bullseye.
Yeah, well, as soon as he said that, I remembered.
That movie, like, I think
Not e-
Ben did a great job playing Matt in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just the rest of the movie I hate. Like, everything around him. I even, like, I love Michael Clark Duncan. Great actor. Horrible pick for Kingpin.
Mhm.
Like, there's just so many bad decisions for adapting Daredevil in that movie.
It's not even listed in his list of movies. I wonder if he demanded that they
I don't know.
take it out. He is just barely older than me. (2003)
Michael Clark Duncan should have been Tombstone. I agree. That would have been great. Much better casting for him.
So he would have been. Wait.
I actually agree with
27?
Fizchozo on something.
But yeah, also Fizchozo is right. Penguin is just a mafia show with him fighting Falcone's daughter. How is that
Yeah.
interesting? It's just a
It's
mafia
not.
show that's vaguely, not even supernatural, but like has a slightly quirky character. Slightly.
Speaking of Penguin, did you see what happened in the Batman Cape Crusader previews that they've been showing off? So
No.
I don't think it's actually supposed to be Oswald. I think it's supposed to be his mom, from what I'm hearing, but it doesn't change the fact that they're writing it to where a female penguin is the person that he's fighting instead of the penguin, and it's Oswalda Cobblepot. So there is a gender-bent penguin, effectively, in the Cape Crusader show. Yeah.
This is a show?
The cartoon. We talked about this, like, I think actually the last time we did this, since we skipped a week.
Is this the same one that has the female Mr. Freeze?
Yes. Yeah. This is and Bruce Timm is
Why?
apparently back working on this. So I already had like
Are all
red
the characters
flags.
female, or
I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them are just gender bent. There was a lot of red flags to me. Like, a lot of people were excited because like it's technically Tim coming back, even though it's not an actual continuation of the whole show. It's more of like a spiritual successor reboot type thing. And it's like it's going to take place in the past, which I think Batman is better as a period piece. If you want to put him back in like the 20s or 30s, I think he works better that way. Yeah, Commissioner Gordon, both of the Gordons are going to be black. They've already showed off, which they've been kind of doing that in the comics. So like they're going to find reasons to justify it, though. Making the police commissioner of the head precinct back in the like 20s black, it really doesn't work in the setting, you know.
what? I mean, are they going to make Poison Ivy a man? Are they going to make Lucius Fox white? No, of course not.
As far as I know about Lucius, he's still black, but yeah. No. It's these characters are just gender bent. And I saw somebody on Twitter, because you always get the wildest takes on Twitter. It's like, Oh, come on. Who actually cares? Like, you guys only just now care about the Penguin, and everyone was dogging this person. What are you talking about? The Penguin's like the second or third most popular Batman villain after, like, the Joker. He's been in multiple movies at this point. He was super popular back in it was some random person. Had to have been like a Zoomer or something who doesn't know shit, right? He was like one of the most popular characters back in the Adam West Batman show, right?
Right. I mean, they made the second, like, Keaton movie with him as the villain because he was basically second right after Joker.
Everybody knows
as far as popularity.
Even the Penguin's been in so many things that even when he's not a main villain, he's like there doing things on the side, being a nuisance to Gotham. Like,
the show Gotham. Yeah. He's arguably the main character of the whole show.
You could argue that for sure. Especially like season 2 going on, they gave him even more screen time. So it's like
I mean, he was in the very first episode. I mean, he was
I'm just saying like they doubled his
I think they kind
from
of
like the second season onward.
Yeah. Well, because in the first season he kind of was like a henchman, like a nobody. Of course you knew who he was. But I think he was like always meant to be the main character, and the actor is so good. Yeah, who said that?
I don't know. It had to be some. I mean, some Zoomer chick that Oh,
it was a girl.
Uber progressive type person. It's just like, this doesn't matter. Why do you guys care about the Penguin all of a sudden? It's like, what do you mean everybody's always cared about the Penguin? Always.
Ridiculous.
Like, even if you go to like other material, like I said, even when he's not the main villain, like you could be watching some random episode or movie of Batman, and there'll be some dealing with the Penguin in the background. Like that's just how prevalent he is throughout Batman stories, because everyone likes the Penguin.
And it's almost I don't. They always slightly change his backstory and exactly how he's related to different crime bosses and stuff, but it always seems like it's critical for him to be a male, partly because he's like either deformed or handicapped in some way, and it kind of gives him this sense of inferiority complex sort of thing. Kind of makes him.
He definitely has like a Napoleon complex. Of sorts.
Yeah. He's never been physically.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, he's always he's never been physically imposing, so he has to. I mean, that's been his character, and it doesn't work as a woman, really.
No, well, especially because how big they made her too. Like when you see her in the scene, and like I think she's like.
Oh, I haven't seen her.
Because it's supposed to be. I think she is supposed to be his mom. Right, is how they're selling it. As like an excuse, but she's like the same size, like height as Bruce. It's still the same like form as the Penguin for the most part, just like Penguin with breasts. But she's like big. She's like actually like tall. I'm like, I guess she's an Emperor Penguin.
So is she gonna like fight him physically? Because
yeah. She was swinging the one screenshot I saw. She was like swinging the umbrella at him or whatever.
It's the wrong fucking character. Like that's like Bane or something. Like
I don't know.
So why even
awful show?
That sounds awful. Yeah,
nothing but red flags.
It's like, okay, you're gonna change everything about the character except the name. Like nothing else is the same except she uses an umbrella. I mean, that completely misses the entire character. Ridiculous. These people don't care. I don't know why I even go on about it. They don't care. Nothing matters. They don't know the characters. They don't care about the characters.
No, they don't. I think my favorite connection, which I don't know if this was in the comics before that. It could have been, but my earliest account of it was in the Timverse in Batman the Animated Series. But I like the connection when he pulls the Cobblepot family lineage and the Pennyworth family lineage together. So there's actually like some type of tension there because that happened in the animated series.
I don't remember that.
Where Alfred when he first meets the Penguin, he talks about, it's like, oh yeah, my family has history in them. I could tell you about this guy. I thought that was a nice little connection. It might have roots in the comics. I just can't remember if it did off the top of my head, but I remember it being in there. The problem is, like you said,
new show called
redo.
So that I can.
Oh, Cape Crusader.
So I can get outraged.
Yeah. But his origin's been redone so many times. I do think it is important, though, because he is like the male heir, like the lineage of a mob family, which you usually pass down through the guys. So, like, even that part alone is important, especially if it's going to take place back in, like, the late 20s, right? You can't change some things because historically, a lot of this, like, diversity stuff would not have worked back then. Right, like that's just not how people operated at that time, right? A mob family would not have given it to a woman, or even the 40s, right? If it takes place in the 40s, which would be even more time appropriate because Batman, you can make Batman work in the 20s, but like obviously he didn't come out until after that period already. He was like in the late 30s. But regardless, even the 40s, like you could not have given a mob to a woman willingly. Like, it might have happened a couple times, but there would have been a lot of struggle. There would have been a lot of chaos, and you'd have to, like, really heavily explain this in World if you wanted that to happen, right? Or, like I said, even the 40s. The precinct of Gotham.
Oh, it's Minnie Driver?
Yeah.
I like her.
I like Minnie Driver, too. I just don't like what they're choosing to do. Having a black commissioner just probably would not have worked in the 40s.
Why can't you just? They can't think like.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like about all the female characters in Batman, and then I was thinking, well, okay, if they were going to gender swap, like first off, why would they make a female character that is physically imposing? Like,
I don't know.
I was thinking like Clock King would make a good gender swap, right? Because
like
he's
Clock Queen.
Kind of I mean, he's this thin guy. He works, off his mind. He has, all these things timed out perfectly, like a Rube Goldberg.
But he also just has
machine
so many different female villains as it is. Like why not bring him in? Yeah. You could even have a fun thing.
Firebug.
Yeah, Clock King is a.
Well,